When Jonathan moved into a forgotten Victorian mansion, he thought the mirrors were just antiques, until they started blinking first. What he discovered inside them wasn't just a different reflection, it was a different reality, and it wanted out. The house that waited. Jonathan Blake wasn't running from anything. At least, that's what he told himself. After 15 years as a high-powered attorney in Manhattan, endless legal battles, and a divorce that stripped him of more than just assets, he wanted solitude, a reset. That's when the ad appeared. A historic Victorian mansion in a forgotten Pennsylvania town called Ashmere Hollow. The price? Unbelievably low, as is the listing said. The photos showed stained glass windows, intricate woodwork, ivy-covered gates, and, oddly, mirrors. Lots of mirrors. Antique ones. Towering ones. Mirrors in the hallway. Mirrors above fireplaces, even in the bedrooms. That should have raised a flag. But Jonathan, hungry for change, only saw a sanctuary. The drive up was uneventful. GPS barely registered Ashmere Hollow. The town was quiet. No Starbucks, no gas stations, just weathered buildings with faded paint and old locals who stared too long. The house stood at the end of a gravel road, behind an iron gate tangled in rust and vines. A heavy fog hung over the property like it hadn't moved in years. The structure was massive, 3 stories tall, Gothic arches, and a tower in the corner. The real estate agent, a pale man named Mr. Drexler, waited on the porch. He was polite, but strangely eager to hand over the keys and leave. He didn't walk Jonathan through the home. Instead, he said, "Everything stays where it is, especially the mirrors. That's part of the deed." Jonathan raised an eyebrow. "What's so special about them?" Drexler looked away. "They're original. Valuable. It's tradition." Inside, the house smelled of cedar and cold. Dust danced in beams of soft light, filtering through thick curtains. But everything was clean, almost suspiciously so, like someone had tidied up right before Jonathan arrived. The mirrors, dozens of them, were the only things that sparkled. Each one had its own character. Carved frames, warm brass. Some were cracked. Others were perfectly smooth. Yet there was something odd. Each mirror felt deliberately placed, like they had always belonged, watching every room, reflecting not just space, but presence. That first night, Jonathan unpacked only the essentials. No Wi-Fi, no cell service, just peace and the sound of wind through the trees. As he brushed his teeth, he caught something strange in the bathroom mirror. He blinked, looked again. His reflection was a second behind. Just a second. He tilted his head. The image followed late. "Weird," he muttered, blaming jet lag or bad lighting. But even after turning away, he felt it. Eyes on him. Not from outside. From within the house. From within the glass. By the third night, things got worse. He found himself staring into mirrors longer than necessary. His reflection didn't blink when he did. It moved slightly slower. Sometimes, it smiled subtly when he wasn't smiling. He experimented. Raised a hand. The mirror matched. Then he blinked, and his reflection didn't. It stared, unblinking, expressionless. Then, slowly, it smirked. Jonathan stumbled backward. The reflection returned to normal. He didn't sleep that night. In the morning, he covered the bathroom mirror with a towel. But the next time he entered, the towel was folded neatly on the sink, and the mirror shone brightly. He tried to ignore it. Days passed, but the house never felt empty. The mirrors seemed to multiply. One above the stairwell that wasn't there before. Another in a hallway where he swore there was just wallpaper. Sometimes, they showed rooms that didn't exist in the house. Once he saw a fireplace in a mirror, but there was no fireplace behind him. Just a blank wall. Another time, he saw someone walking in the hallway while he stood in the kitchen. He searched the house top to bottom. No secret doors. No basement. Just mirror after mirror. Then came the hallway event. One night, walking past the second-floor corridor mirror, he saw someone staring at him. Not a reflection. A man. Himself. But different. Dressed in black. Wearing leather gloves. Pale. Eyes darker, more hollow. And this version didn't copy his movements. It just stared. Jonathan leaned in, heart pounding. The reflection whispered something. He didn't hear it. but he saw the lips move. It mouthed, almost ready. Then it vanished. The mirror reflected the empty hallway behind him again. Jonathan punched the glass. It didn't break. It felt cold, colder than glass should, almost like touching ice or a heartbeat. The next morning, he called the agent. No answer. He searched the listing online. Gone. No record of Drexler Realty. The website? Vanished. He checked the town record office. Closed. The locals? Unhelpful. They watched him but wouldn't speak. When he asked about the house, they shook their heads and walked away. One woman, very old, whispered, that place was never meant for living. He began documenting everything. Journals, photos, videos. But his phone refused to capture anything. Photos came out warped. Videos were static. When he played them back, the audio played out his voice, but different. Slower, whispering back things he didn't say. One recording ended with his own voice saying, "You're not supposed to be here." Jonathan spiraled. He stopped shaving. He barely ate. He heard voices behind him when he looked in mirrors. He caught movement from the corner of his eye. One night, he woke to the sound of glass humming. A deep vibration filled the house. The mirrors glowed faintly, like they were alive. He grabbed a blanket and smashed the closest one with a chair. It didn't break. He tried again and again. The glass rippled like water. Then his reflection stepped forward, out of sync, and looked at him, calmly, like it had been waiting. It smiled, then whispered, "See you soon." End of chapter 1.